Hi everyone, it's Nancy from Papercraft Arts. I know it's been a long time, so I might be a little rusty, but I have some things a bunch of projects I want to share with you. So let's get started right away. These little books are ones that I made many years ago, not many, and I think it was like 2015, except for this one. I made this one for a challenge, and it's basically an origami fold that ends up in a little book that has these triangular pockets, and I just thought they were so cool, you know, and you can put little tags in them, and you can put ephemera in them for a journal. There's this one, little one. I was into making little micro mini books before I jumped into the world of making junk journals. This one has little tags, cards, and this one I made into a little quote book. I wrote little quotes on the backs of the cards, some of my favorite quotes. And this little one was one that I made for a challenge. And this one has the same thing, these are my mini tabs that I sell in my store. And then I just made little tags for each pocket. And that's that one. And then there's this bigger one that I made when I watched the video. The video I watched when I learned how to make these was dated like 2008, or yeah, I believe it was around that time. And I had saved it in my videos, and I think it's since been taken down. But it was quite an old video. That's where I learned how to make these. And here's one with the bigger cards. So basically you can make these in just about any size that you want. And when I took a look at these and thought, you know, that'd be really neat if I could size it down a little bit, maybe less pages, so you could make these little booklets to include in your journals and put pieces of ephemera in them for, you know, the person that actually gets your journal and writes in it. And I have those samples right here. I made, you know, different sizes. I have different closures on them. This one has a little clip on the top that I attached with a ball chain, and then you just open it up. Now this one I made little cards for it, and these just pull out, and these are just little journal cards I made for this one. And let's see, this one I made a fold over and put an eyelet in it, and then attach some string. And this has various pieces of ephemera in it. Some tea cards. These are Tracy Fox's tea cards that you open up in the back. You can write on those, include those in your journal. This is just a little cutout, a Tim Holtz cutout or die cut. And then there's some more tea cards in this one. So there's that one, and then there's this one that I made with a little Velcro dot closure. I just cut a piece of paper, glued it on, and added a Velcro dot. This one I folded out of vellum, and in it there's all different types of little ephemera that, you know, the journaler can use and add to their journal anywhere they want. And this one has a Velcro closure on it. This one has little tags I made. I cut these out from a paper pad, and I just shortened them. I cut them off at the bottom. This one I added a little washi sticker to. And I made a little card out of one of the journal cards that was in the paper collection. And this one's folded with vellum. So that's that one. And there's this one I made. I collaged the front of it. This has one of those teeny tiny bulldog clips. It's a Tim Holtz bulldog clip. And this one has different types of ephemera in it for the journaler. Little cards. This one's kind of glued in. There we go. This one I added some tabs. I put in some pieces of paper in this one so they can do a little collage if they want. This one I folded out of glassine, which is one of the ones I'm going to show you today. So that's that one, and I'll just show you one more here. This one I folded out of old wax paper that I had. I got the roll at an estate sale, and it's just naturally yellowed over time, but it turned out well. And the key to making these books and to being able to make the folds pretty accurately is to use a thin paper. And the various papers I've tried that have worked for me were, number one, the wax paper, a thin type of vellum, painter's paper. It comes on a roll. I was gonna get that for you to show you, but I forgot to get it out. It just comes on a roll, and I think it's about 12 inches long. Sometimes you can get the rolls in half that size at 6 inches long, but the paper is fairly thin, and it comes in green and brown. Let's see, what else do I use? I use glassine. I have some glassine sheets that I got on Amazon. That works really well because it's nice and thin. And let's see, let me look at my notes here. What other types of paper? Oh, and if you don't have any of that, try some, you can try packaging paper that you get in a box. Sometimes it's thin, and that's the kind you want to use for something like this, is a thinner packaging paper. Or lunch bags. You can cut up a lunch bag and measure out, the size that you need. And even though there's folds in there, you could still manage to fold a book out of it, a little book out of it. So today I'm going to try and fold 2 of them for you and show you how I've done it. I modified it so that there are less pages, and it makes the book thinner, so that it's not too bulky to add to a journal. And I also modified it because the more folding you do, the more tedious and frustrating it can get, because if your folds aren't accurate, then they're going to look a little wonky. And if you're, a perfectionist in any way, it's going to drive you crazy. So I did try to modify these a little bit so that it will work for journals and just for tedious reasons. So let me get the 2 that I'm going to start with today, or show you today. This is one of them. This is the painter's paper that I was talking about. It's kind of thin. This is the green one, and it works really well for the folding. And then here's the glassine one that I'm gonna fold for you today. This one is a longer piece, so this one will have 2 pages in it, or 4 actually. And this one will have 3, and it'll come out real thin. So I'll start with the glassine because that's the easier one. And I cut the cover, pre-cut the cover for it, so I'll show you how I did that and measured for it. This piece is 8.5 by 10. So basically, you take it and you fold it in half and do your best. Now glassine, the only drawback to glassine is that it, and vellum too, is that it's slippery. So you want to make sure that, you know, things don't slip while you're folding it the best you can. Plus, when you make a fold on glassine or vellum, it's unforgiving. So you don't want to have to refold it too many times, or it's really going to show. Actually, before I start this and go any further, why don't I give you a list of the supplies, so that way if you want to try to fold along with me, you can. So the supplies basically that you will need are some glue. I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue, but you can use a white glue like art clear glue. Fabri-Tac will work. You could try glue stick, but I'm not sure it'll work on the inner pages. Let's see. Yeah, but use any glue that's you have available to you. You'll need a ruler. You'll need to do a little bit of measuring. It really does help to do that. A pencil to make your marks. A bone folder, like this one. And if you don't have a bone folder, try a short ruler. That'll work, or a table knife, something like that that has a smooth surface that you can use to make a nice crisp fold. You're gonna need thin paper, and we went over the types of paper. And cardstock for the cover, you know, like a 60-pound weight is fine. Scissors or a paper cutter to cut your paper to size. Washi tape, that's optional, but I did use it instead of gluing the triangles together, I used washi tape to tape them together. I'll show you, let's see, which booklet did I do that in? Like here I used washi tape, because you need to glue this flap and this flap down so it'll make the pocket. So you can use washi tape or glue. Let's see what else. Oh, for the closure, you can use whatever you want. Like I showed you, you can get a Velcro dot and make a tab, or a bulldog clip, or a cording and an eyelet like I showed you on this little booklet right here. And ink, if you want to ink your edges, you'll want some you know, distress ink like Vintage Photo, and an inker like this. And I think I covered most of, I started using tape to tape down my pages to my cover, and that seemed to work really well. This is score tape, but it's a double-sided tape, so that's optional too. You can glue it down if you want. And I think I covered most of it. All right, so let's get back to the folding. So this is, again, this is glassine sheet. It is 8.5 by 10, okay? And I folded it in half. And then you take and unfold it, and take up this side and fold it right up to the fold line. It's not necessary to leave any room. You want to pretty much be on that fold line. Usually if I do it this way, I can see better. Right there. And then just crease that down with your folder. Then take the other side and do the same. You want to open this back up because you'll be able to see the fold better. And I'll give you little tips and tricks along the way that I learned as I've folded several of these in preparation for the video. So just fold that one down and crease it. Now here's a little trick I learned as I was making these, is once you make those basic folds, then I invert the fold and fold it back on itself, just to reinforce that fold that you made. Because some papers, you fold them one way, but then you go to fold them the other way and they don't want to fold. So do that with all your folds, and it will make things a little easier as we go along. Make sure it gets folded down on the original fold that you made, and you don't make a new one. And this one. I love the crinkly sound of glassine and the feel of it. It's always been one of my favorite mediums to use. Okay, so we got 4 folds. Now we want to make an accordion out of these folds. So fold this one. This one gets folded back this way and this way. So now we have a valley and mountains and an accordion. So take this in and face it this way, and then take the bottom and fold it up into a triangle right along the edge. And make sure you're making a nice point there, right there. And crease it. And then turn it around and fold it up and towards the fold. So up and towards the fold and crease it. Then open it up. Okay, and take this one and fold this towards this fold line. And here you're folding 2 pieces together because it's a front and back fold. Turn it around and fold that one up. There is a more recent video on this type of book that I watched, and she makes one that has several pages in it, like those first ones I showed you that I made a long time ago. I'll try to link that video in the description box below my video. And this last page, we fold them up towards the middle. So now you have this shape. And what I do at this point is just reinforce the folds I made by going over them with my bone folder. Turn it around and, oops, see? Turn it around and do the same. Now I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open up all those folds. And now you see these 2 triangles in the middle? We're going to invert those triangles. The best way I found to do this is to pinch it right at the point there and then push down and work your little point there. Go over the fold that folds easily, then work on the fold that you're inverting that doesn't fold as easily. Just go along it, pinch it as you go along up to the point. and then here you've got your first one. Then turn it around and do the same on this side. Here's the first one, and then there's this one. Then I'm inverting the fold, so I want to make sure I get it accurately. Then fold down. And then you'll see this little fold inside. Make sure that's nice and folded down too. Bone folder. And then these ends, these triangles get folded towards the inside. So you're going to invert this one. And that one. Fold that up, turn it over, and these are already folded correctly, so that one gets folded up. So you have the same shape, but now is the time where we fold and make the pockets. So you open up the first page and fold up these triangles. Turn it around, fold up, try to center your triangle on the fold, and then fold down. Okay, I'll turn it back around, open up this little page, fold it back on itself, and fold these up. And your book is made. It's all pretty much finished. Burnish. Nice and crisp. And there we have our pockets. Now these are loose, so what I do is I usually glue them down, or like I said before, let me get my washi tape. I'm not sure it'll stick on the glassine well. I put the tape down in the center and use the tape as the glue per se. These I'm gonna glue together because I'm not sure that the washi tape will stay stuck. So I'm gonna take my 3-in-1 and open it up, and this little flap, sometimes I add a little glue there just to keep it down. Okay, and then I just run glue up that point and on this one too. Fold that down. And you don't want too much glue because then it'll seep out and shorten the depth of your pocket. Okay, so that's glued. Then go to your next page and do the same. You can reverse these folds, so one triangle's like this and the other is like this, or you can have them the same. So mine, actually I forgot to glue the other flap, so I'll show you on this one. There's 2 flaps to glue. There's this one on the top and the other one on the bottom. This one. I forgot to glue it on the other page, but it'll be okay. So I glued those down. And just make a line here. Fold this down. and this one up. And then fold up. And basically now your book is made and it's time to put the cover on. Now for the covers, I'll tell you how I measured them. This one I'm just gonna make, you know, fold in half. But I just took my ruler and I measured. Because this is thin, you don't need any room on the spine. So I measured and I, you know, allowed about 1/8 of an inch extra. So this one comes to 2 5/8. So I just doubled that, and actually I cut this a little bit longer at 5 1/4. And I can always cut it off if it's too long. And then of course I measured the height and added 1/8 of an inch on each side. And this one came out to be 3 5/8. So you just take your cover. And like I said, this one I'm going to fold right in half because I'm not going to put a flap on it or anything. And I thought about scoring these, but it worked better just to fold them in half. Okay, so there's my cover. Now I'm going to just test it, see if everything fits right. I cut that just a little bit close, but it'll still work. I still have room. Okay, so your next step is to take your tape or your glue, and I put a piece of tape here at the top, not right to the top, but a little bit below, and the same around the fold in the middle. That way it gives it a little bit of room to move once it's glued down. Take 2 pieces of tape, and then I put a little bit of glue in the middle. Let me take my tape off first, then I'll put my glue down. So, piece off. That piece. Now if you just want to use the tape and no glue, it should be good enough. You shouldn't have to put any glue in the middle if you don't. It should stay, you know, should stay glued well enough or stuck down well enough that it won't come out or come apart. Okay, and I just center it the best I can and make sure my book's up against that fold there. Let me try it this way. Works better this way. And it's up against that fold, and then I just fold down. Now I'll do the other side. Put my tape on. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's staying healthy. Hope you all are having a great summer. Mine's been a little odd, but it's been okay. We had crappy weather for a while. I hate humidity, so we've had a lot of that this summer. But otherwise it's been okay. Hasn't been too bad. And then, okay, so now I'm ready for this one. And I'll stick that down. And now your book is ready to be decorated on the front. You can round the corners if you like. And your pockets are made. And now it's time to stuff them with all kinds of goodies. And if you notice, it's real nice and thin. It'll stick, you know, you can stick it in a pocket. And I'm going to show you at the end of this video a cool way to include it in a journal. But there's your book, all made, ready to be filled. Now, you know, if you're not a junk journaler and you say, well, what would I use something like this for? I had two other ideas. And I'm not, this book, I'm not sure if it would fit. Now, a Ghirardelli chocolate fits in this pocket, but it's quite thick. So, you know, you could, but you could still, you know, adapt this. So you could use this as a little gift pouch for, you know, for some chocolates, okay? And then the other idea I had was put a tea bag in. Now this one's a little bit too short for this tea bag, but the other one I'm gonna make will fit these tea bags. But that's another idea. Use it as, you know, just adjust your measurements. Like, for example, the folds we made on this one were 2.5, it was a 2.5-inch fold that we folded in. If you wanted your book a little longer, then make your paper longer and your folds will be longer. So let's say you made your paper 10.5. It'll make your, you know, take a piece of scrap paper and test that and fold it and see if it'll make a pocket deep enough for, you know, a tea bag. I hope you understand that. So you can make it any length you want in as many folds as you want. So there's the first one. Now we're going to move on to the painter's paper. Let me just put this in my trash bowl. This one. Now this size is this size of paper here. That's my cover. Let me put the top on my glue. This one's 9 by 18, and it'll make a book this size with 2 pages in the middle, and then, you know, 2 end flaps. Now this one, I mean, width-wise, it fits the tea bag perfectly, but it's still a little short. So if this is 9 by 18, then try cutting a piece that's like 9 by 18.5 or 9 by 19 or 9 by 20 and see if it makes, you know, it'll make bigger folds, which will make these pockets deeper. So I hope you understand that correctly. All right, so here's our painter's paper. Let's make this one. Now this one is gonna have 2 folds towards the center, not just one like we just did. And I measured this out so it'll fold in thirds. 18 is divisible by 3. So I measure it out and I make 1 tick mark, that's all. At the 3 inches from the center. Okay? And go to this side and mark it 3 inches from the center. Okay. Now, take one side and fold it up to that tick mark you just made, which is right there. Finish your fold. Now turn it over and fold it up to the center line, or center fold line. And fold. Now my fold here is just a little bit off, so I'm going to move it up and adjust it so it's folded just right there. Now I'm going to do the same on this side. Find the tick mark you just made which I always have problems finding. Let's see, where is it? And if you can't find it, then you just make another one. There it is, right there. And fold it up to the mark. Same thing as we did on the other side. Burnish your fold. Turn it over and fold up to the center line. And we'll do the same with these folds as we did with the glassine, where we invert the folds because it makes everything so much easier. And I think it also helps with making accurate, crisp folds, which is what you want when you're making these books. So right now I'm just inverting these folds. Nice and crisp. Center line. And this one. Now with painter's paper, the way I measured it was I just rolled out and folded it over. Let's say I wanted a piece that's 9 by 18. So I folded it over till it was about 10 inches or 9 inches, folded over. I cut it with my scissors, and then I folded it folded it in half, matching the sides, and then I cut it on the cutter. So while it was still folded in half, so I measured it at 9 inches and cut it, and then I trimmed the sides off, because sometimes the edges on this painter paper can get real rough, and I wanted clean edges, so I cut it on both sides and measured out 9 inches. So one more fold to go here. Okay, now we got all the folds inverted. Now we'll make our accordion fold. Okay, now everything's an accordion. And just burnish them down, nice and flat. And if it looks a little bit off, no big deal. I mean, it doesn't have to be totally perfect. Okay, that's what crafting is all about. There's, inconsistencies sometimes. Now make your triangles towards the fold. Turn it around. Make sure you're making that point there. Hold that down. Back around. And do the same with this. So if you have a hard time seeing the fold, just turn it around. See, sometimes a different angle on the light can help you see it better. Hold that down. And this one. You know what I didn't do this summer that I really want to do? I'm hoping I can still do, is I really want to go to a flea market. I love shopping at flea markets for things for my journals. It is so much fun. I think it is. Or an estate sale. But I think for the summer I'd rather go to a flea market. I can save the estate sales for the winter time when it's cold outside. Okay. Because a lot of the estate sales are actually inside. At least the ones I've been to. Okay, you get your triangle fold in, one more. And this last one. See, I can't see that fold, so I just turn it so I can get it in the right light. Hold that down. The more of these you make, the easier it'll become. Hold that down. Fold this up and burnish. And you want to press too hard or you might make another fold, which you don't want. Okay, now we open it up. Okay, now we invert the triangles, pinch it, fold it in, make sure you're folding back exactly on those folds, pinch it, fold it in, make sure you're folding exactly on that fold, and over this one, and this one. Fold it up. Yeah, and then you want to fold these inside. These end folds. Now here I'll probably adjust it a little because it wasn't folded exactly before. Yeah. And there. And then fold that up. Burnish again. Make sure you burnish that inside fold there. And okay. Turn it around. Now open it up and fold in your pockets. Oops. Turn it around. Then fold it up. That first page. Fold up. Center your triangle. Point. Turn it around and see. Open this up this way. This is your last page. And this way. Okay, now your book is made, and now it's time to glue the flaps down and put a cover on it. And here, take my washi tape and try to fold it, kind of fold it in half, like that. Put it down. That way I know it's centered pretty well. Press it down, turn it around, and cut off the end. Be careful not to cut your pocket open when you're doing that. This one's a little, see how that one's just a slightly off? That's okay. Just work around it. That's the first one. Here we go. Burnish it down. right here I'll probably stop the video and finish this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I've got washi tape. This time instead of gluing, I put washi tape in. And it sticks really well to this paper. So now we've got the cover. Now this cover, I wanted to put a flap on it. So what I did was I measured the width of this, which is 3 inches. And if you look, this one's a little thicker. It's about 1/8 of an inch on there. So I added 1/8 of an inch for folding it over this, thickness here. So we added 3 and 3 plus 1/8 for here. So that's 6 1/8. And then I added about 1/8 of an inch plus however wide I wanted the flap, which was about 1/2 an inch. So take my tape, and you saw me do this for the glassine one. So I am going to either speed up the video here or stop it and come back. All right. Okay, so I'm back. So I glued in this first pocket here. Okay. Now, and that's the front of the cover. Now I'm gonna show you how I did this one. I just kind of worked it around the edge, so it give it a little room for the spine there. And then I glued this end down like that. So now you have your book made with your flap. And what I did for that was I took a scoring tool like this one, and you can use, what could you use? Anything with a blunt end that would make a scoring, a score line. And I just took my ruler and allowed 1/8 of an inch, let's turn this around, 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the front cover, and then I scored. Went off there. Okay, that made it a little easier for me to fold it down in the right place. Now that flap's a little short. I should have cut it a little bit longer, but it works. Okay, and then for this one, let me show you what to do when I round the corners. This is my corner rounder, but you can use, the other type, and just round the corner. I like the rounded corners, and then this folds over like this. And there you have that one. Now one more thing I wanted to show you before I end the video is this idea of how you could put these in one of your journals. And I have a little sample here. This is a booklet that I made, another one that I made, and I used a bulldog clip to close it as a little flap, and then all the ephemera inside. And I took some ball and chain, which you can get in the jewelry departments of craft stores, or this set I got from that's by Tim Holtz Ideology. And you just take a piece of the chain and put it through one of the clips, the holes in the clip, not both, but just one. And then I put a corner tuck on this journal page and added an eyelet to it. And then I thread the ball and chain through the eyelet and put one of the clasps on, and then that way you can tuck it right in there, just like that. And you could do that as a bottom tuck too if you wanted. That way, let's say the journaler comes along and you say, well, I want to add some ephemera, but the good thing is this bulldog clip is attached, so they won't have to worry about losing it. They open up their book, take out their ephemera, and then it's right there, still on the page. Clip it back on and stick it right in the corner there. So that was my idea. I'll be back soon because I got more ideas to share with you. I hope you like this, and give me a thumbs up. Maybe leave me a comment, ask me a question, and don't forget to subscribe. And also, I want to say welcome to all my new subscribers. And as soon as I hit 525 subscribers, I'm gonna look into doing a little giveaway. Maybe I'll give away one of these books and a few other things I've made. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you later.